My bad. Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now? Should be working this time. Thunder. Okay, good. Let's try this again. Is it the oh, like there's no game audio yet. It just cut. Is my mic fine or is it too quiet? You're quiet. Okay. Uh, how about that? Is that better? Yeah. Okay. Let's start. Tell me if the in-game audio works. Hear the gunshot? Yeah, okay.
Holmes.
What am I doing? Oh,
Holmes, will you stop that?
why would you walk towards the man with the gun?
You are utterly mad.
Thinking right now, I don't think
Stop, Holmes.
I.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
Handcuffs. Oh, no.
Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're
Plus, you
out of
shoot
your
them.
mind.
I
Darn,
missed
you
4
smart.
out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near
You're gonna be
Forest
playing
Row
Dragon
in
Guard?
Sussex. It was where he
Oh,
lived for 6
yeah.
years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
I
Take
keep
your time
looking up
and join me there.
him.
I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it. Yeah. title. Is the Wizard. Summon.
My archive. I can always... My archive. I can... This is where I keep my post.
Like fish. One fish. Nope. Oh,
My archive.
wrong.
I can always
I got to chain. Oh, good old welcome. Ah, yeah. Super tough. Oh, that's oh, the green one. Of course, I become the Riddler. Best puzzle master ever. Good heaven. Ah. Oop. Well, half of it's like locked. Some poor customization. I guess some shit while things load.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
It was the girl. I know it from a mile away. And I wanted them.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Okay. No, garden was okay.
Mr. Holmes?
Wonder if there's a rum.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
That's what's gonna be.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually, whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing
I'm
out.
guessing we're gonna go to a pub at some point.
Do you
Guys,
remember
drink.
at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and, oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Okay. I mean, but this is not very good. First, it's the third on this. Birdhouse. Blacksmithing birdhouse.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Yeah, where did you get Plymouth? Oh, quick time of. Oh, what? Plymouth from? Uh, came down something. The guard. Oh, that was wrong.
You have indeed suffered a great loss.
Yes.
Ah, I can't.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes.
Oh,
Oh my
pilgrimage.
goodness, but how do you
Something
know
about
about
it.
that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
I was going to say
Thank
the
you,
Riddler.
madam.
Oh, okay. Wow. Hey, puzzle. What that? So almost never die. How do I run this fear? Nope. There we go.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin.
Mr. Holmes?
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
But you locked it, but didn't you like put like a police officer in guard or something?
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
This one. Oh, button. There we go. Getting that open.
What a terrible
Harpoon
way to
speed.
die.
What is that?
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the
Great.
blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
He's still alive and he got stabbed. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Block. Nice. Okay.
This wooden handle is plain and solid.
Okay, bye.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did
What
not
was that?
succeed.
Can't I examine blood?
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Is can't I?
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
I should pull it up. Why? Unfair. Been fixed by something that done. Break. No. Done. Oh, wrong. Oh, there we go. Oh. And was made tonight to be breaking. Okay.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
So, now.
Peter
Harpoon.
Carey was impaled to the
This-
wall by a whaling harpoon.
Oh,
Someone
sure.
drank from this glass recently.
Perfect.
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Tobacco.
This aroma is familiar, but
Hot.
to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Ship. Blood. Rain.
This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
So that found out that's the
Rum,
coarse tobacco or whatever.
sailor's drink. It
Strong one?
seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Might not be going to a pub after all.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Something like up.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. The murder weapon was probably taken from this rack.
What?
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky,
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen,
This
ready
inspector's
your
a little
pistols.
idiot.
We have a long night ahead of us.
We need to find a good place for an
Oh,
ambush.
damn.
Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Hey, talk. Shed? Could be a shed? A hut? Cabin.
Shh! Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
Wait.
I'll be right behind you.
Oh,
Police! Hold it right there!
oh. The name of the law.
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Well,
Enough!
zoom in, man.
You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it
Clearly
seems
not
evident
him.
that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Definitely not. Okay. But okay.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Where is that? That oh,
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
oh.
From R. Dawson and partner, 1883. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
Okay.
A handkerchief with the initials J.H.N. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
I thought mustard. Oh. Okay.
Locked. Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Hell.
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
Wait, yeah.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Right. Right.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is
It is.
mine.
It's our. Right? Oh, that was wrong.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
It's our.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father.
Was
With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon.
Oh. Very. Ah. But one grand open. No way that.
Please let me.
Break them. Three. The.
Locked.
Yes. Lost. Not. What? One. Ah. 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 Happen. Elegant. Great. Bank. In. So. The bank. Fine. Perfect. Fine. That large bank. Bank. Second. Large. Expectation of. Zero. One. Bank. Two. It. Plus. Got. Bank. Got. Say. Elegant.
That is?
guide here.
Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
But now go back. Oh, Watson. Of a harpoon, yeah.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then?
Wait, are we
Is
gonna get
something
a pig?
bothering you?
We're gonna
The sailor's
get
knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible, but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
know it.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
I'm guessing I have to go get a big butcher thing. So oh fuck. Wasn't expecting that.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Get a
I need to take a harpoon with
get
me.
a harpoon. I don't think it was it. I died. Maybe dad. I think. Oh, Whopper. Wait,
These boots don't match the footprints.
so they're not busy. Some bigger
These
feet.
footprints appear to be quite large.
That
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
the
These footprints
I need one. Double shot. Double pig. Whopper. The I must add.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
to indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark. in order to perform the most reliable test. The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
Yep.
Holmes, you should try to aim.
Get it. What if you tried doing it yourself, huh?
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right.
Really
But
throw
before we go,
something
I
like
suppose I'll have
Callum.
to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
Yes. Go talk to the guy. Tell me, you know who did it.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey
Oh,
and
his
Joshua
mouth doesn't move
Nelligan's
when he's
disappearance.
talking. Or be like some shit. Oh, having time back. Should him put into what problem? Oh. Realize going back.
"1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Fun.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Oh,
Yes. Believe
Yeah.
me, you'll receive more
Against
useful
the kid.
assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always
Some
a watch
circle.
beneath our window. I have only to call him.
exactly what I said. The summon stuff.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
Like,
At your
But-
service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins,
For Holmes.
I need you to
Just be
track down certain
Come here,
people for
Wiggins.
me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
it did. It looks like his water of his mind. Only has
A map of London and the
standing
surrounding
there
area.
for money
It
for
could be
waiting
useful.
for him to summon him. No. Back to the station. What can... So much moving around. Why couldn't all of this be located in what?
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
The kid
We
dead.
have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes, he refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Just step ahead of me, you wouldn't need me. Really?
These are the suspect's belongings.
Shoot, I can test them against the other thing.
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
Clearly they'll fit the half size bigger.
The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
Oh,
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
God, next God. What a God. Man. God, no.
That's all for now.
What? Am I gonna talk?
I'm not saying another word.
Well, he probably is a God itself. Hmm. Let's go check. But some facts may be employed in just for that and speed of string much greater. I don't have this option all the way through 3 black theory and operation same result is and you know why aren't they saying that he probably used a harpoon gun? Right. The harpoon or this harpoon. Great.
These
Perfect.
boots match the footprints exactly.
I was like, God no. Probably. What did and oh great. Yeah. Oh, hey, people. Oh,
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
but it's going to be done now.
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at
Yep,
Woodman's
that's it.
Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Lies.
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Then it means for this.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Probably drunk. Going for being a gardener.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
Is the Shadow
I
God.
observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief.
Oh,
A crested tit, if I'm
yeah,
not
that's
mistaken.
for the rest of it.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my
He having
tools.
an affair?
That's all for now.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Now, we're good.
Mr. Holmes?
I'm not saying...
Check.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes?
Right.
Do you have any idea who the murderer is yet?
And
These are the suspect's belongings. These are the suspect's belongings. A handkerchief. I wonder if these are connected. Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
sorry. It is water. But maybe then was for other places that have happened. Present. Okay. Okay. I guess back.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belonged to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
I'm not saying another word.
Over. One. Check. I think he broke into the place to find the thing. And I think it's just pulled and happened to die. Maybe. My first suspicion is the chick.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Okay. Right.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
I'm guessing it's for paper.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam.
Paper. Oh. I think. Not that I can get on the archive. Very. Maybe. Okay.
I'm not saying another word.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes?
Great.
A new suspect, but this one refuses to.
Still there. Fucking straight.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire. My archive. I can always consult with it, if needed. My archive. I can
Yeah,
always...
the archive. What? It was Watson, man. Watson's the one at home all day. What would I have to do with the telescope? Oh, man. Clearly, Watson. He's like the only one here. See? Nothing. Something else.
It seems that the garden was well maintained. The tooth.
Okay. So I'm thinking.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter...
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Something at Scotland Yard when if the body's not probably the more maybe I should check that. Some more.
Mr. Holmes?
These are the suspect's belongings.
Green paint board. Good.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes? Do you have any idea who the murderer is yet?
Mr. Holmes?
I'm not saying a...
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
What am I thinking? Oh, so boom, fire, go back me. Burn around. Nothing. Miss Yo.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. First condition, second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent.
Okay, so white, orange, and then 2, and then some. So oh, that's that's pretty tough.
No, something is...
I know it. Oh, whoops. Running around, it's like floaty. Okay, so it has to be blue. Oh, alright. Right. Uh, yeah, green, orange, or what?
I can proceed further.
I did
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
Oh, yeah.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
Well, one that definitely stole the box. Yes. If we only have 2 suspects, though, kind of be tricky. That's really annoying. His mouth isn't looking outside. That's run.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. So
What
tell
did
me,
you hide?
Mr. Hurtley,
Tell me.
what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
Oh, fuck. Better.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
That's
I
bad
will
enough.
check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads. But now I know one
It is
thing for
not.
certain. I must
Doesn't
examine
move
the
at
site
all.
where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Back to the ship.
Dundee. Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
Good as. Oh. But
Locked.
open the door.
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
That's very
Thank you, madam.
suspicious.
Let's see what could be hidden here. us see what is in this box.
What? What the thing that did? What? Guess I'm lining up the line. Did it?
A bundle
Yes,
of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hertley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
I knew it. There was an affair. Yeah. All the time, I cannot describe the feeling, but I suppose they can come. I've got to see this to her, but I cannot live with have found as fine and my husband was must have a living here of my body. For her part. Tell me about the letters.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hertley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh. Nope, that ain't right. Fuck.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hertley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
First one.
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My
Sweet.
letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I
God
wanted
sake.
to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hertley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
They look like fake tears because
Thank you,
I can't
madam.
see.
I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Still added that it's her. But harmless flirting has been committed. Was flirting Peter's wife well by unperfect harm. Explained by and the fact that it has a girl but strange. Wiggins, the trusty kid, like try don't stop.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
Done. But I think it might be me. Might be me. It says a frame. I'm not. fine now. I don't know what it was. Just a random stud name, and it wasn't the mic. I'm looking for
This
Apuna.
man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch.
That's our guy. Second on the list. Just
Wiggins,
a lot.
could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
Is it? Oh.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
Don't you think Wiggins looks a little sure. Yeah, I know some Captain Brown. Here. Oh. Check him.
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
I'm driving friends. Body. Oh, we're going to a pub. I said we're going to a pub. Tell myself. Um. It's fine. I'm a pseudo detective. And who would trust that?
Now I can approach Cairns.
Look at him. What a trustworthy face. Doesn't look sauce at all. Really. Oh. Oh. I don't. Yeah. Now go, fine. No one will know. Sherlock Holmes, aka the Riddler. I fucking know. But, bro, select does nothing. It's uh, see, I fit in. Bartender, give me a beer. Old guy? Nope. Harmonica guy? Guy on the table with his phone off? Okay.
Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
mean,
We've heard all
what's
about the gambling and arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
Ooh, I'm gonna do some betting. What? Chain oil. I'm very confused. Fucking come on! Power of the mustache and come on! Oh. Evil mustache power! Come on! I'm still very confused on how this. Huh? Okay, I don't his face. Stop, stop. Go hard. Damn it. Push hard. And L. And then go hard. Nope. Nope. Come on. The fuck. Did it. I won.
You were lucky.
Even mustache
I
power.
wasn't focused. Let's go again.
Oh, fuck off. Uh, nope. Wrong hand. Nope. One. Go. See? Oh, this. People. Fuck.
I'm ready to try again.
We are doing.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
Wish me luck. Going back in. got a hang of it now. Oh. Oh, let's say that. Failed, kind of. Kind of. Oh. Yeah. So much better than last time.
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your
And I
10
gained 10
shillings.
shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink.
Just my evil mustache.
You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
What's up?
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
A harpooner. Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger, we sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumors about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar and violent too, swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
He killed people and threw them over.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she
Dawson.
found
It was Dawson.
They made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was he?
I dunno. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
He was killed and thrown over.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. Those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course.
Hold.
Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here
Cosby.
with my drink.
To the toilet. Where is it? Well, okay. What the scale?
Here it is.
Hail. All that massive shit. Oh, it's so massive, man.
Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Oh, look at that
Well,
celestial smile right there.
Oh, it is.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners.
God.
I'll tell him about you.
No, I
Okay.
think this is
If you
just like
like, aye.
an intro one. I think
I'm done here.
there's
It's
more
time to
after
leave.
this. I think there's 4 together. Is uh, the uh, the production based on thing. Okay, how do I do that? You like pop up on my thing. Really see. Okay, so one option is guilty. So out of there, there is like there. Put that as nope. Now let's do hmm. Yeah. So there's yep. Quick start. Okay. Six. Quick. Oh, my God. One, two, that is food. That is, oh, everything points to the kid. That's more evidence. There's more evidence for the kid, because he could potentially find out that uh, Peter found him, murdered him, and tried to kill him as a what do you think? Uh, but, in, uh, uh, the body was here in against the yeah, that's fair. But let's assume that it's Harpooner guy, because you throw a thing harpoon in, and look like they were there to drink. I doubt they did drink or not. I'm gonna go with that. Drink. Calm. I'm gonna go with calm. How do I do? Proficient. Do like a fast line. I'm gonna go with. Let's see if I was right.
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Holmes, could you explain it to me?
Yes.
As I informed you
well.
on our way here, Patrick Cairns is the murderer of Black Peter.
And
Why bring me here?
okay.
Wouldn't it be better if we were out looking for him?
That would be futile, as he will be with us in approximately 12 seconds.
Oh, well, if this is your idea of humour...
No, I just heard the front door. Prepare yourself.
Good day, gentlemen. A young lad gave me a note from Captain Ahab. Am I at the right address? Is he here?
Indeed, it is the correct address. But in place of your captain, may I present to you Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard?
That means...
It means, my friend, that you are arrested for the murder of Black Peter.
What? What? A trap? You think you can take me?
Here now. We'll have none of that.
And I say that we
Oh
will.
fuck! Wasn't expecting that. Oh. Fuck. Oh, this one poorly. Punch the face. Fuck. Fuck. I think I killed him. Killed me. That didn't. Oh.
Did he escape?
Yes, unfortunately.
I thought you were good at boxing, Mr. Holmes. Apparently there's still room for improvement, eh?
I wasn't expecting
How's
him
your
to
jaw,
go on a
Inspector?
punch out here.
Oh, it's fine. Mr. Holmes, all this is your fault. You should have warned me. I would have come with reinforcements.
If that had been the case, then Cairns wouldn't have come here.
Well, maybe. I'm going now, Mr. Holmes. I'll put out a search. This scum won't get far.
I'll tell you since we said, uh, should I change the ending? I mean, change the talk. Since I already picked it up as well. Let's check my. I was right. Well, it's still the same way, same purpose. Probably it's the next. Okay.
This trip to the countryside will be good for you, Holmes. As your friend and
Should
your
I
doctor,
continue doing it,
I really
or
do
should I
recommend
stop
that
it
you give
here?
yourself a complete
What do you think?
change of scene. Fresh air, brisk walks, bird watching, chopping wood.
Sounds intolerable. I mean, certainly it sounds delightful.
But you haven't yet told me who your friend is. The one we're going to visit.
He is a bee lover.
A bee lover? Do you mean that he keeps bees?
Oh, yeah.
That must be Mrs. Hudson, bringing the warm cloth that I requested.
There is someone to see you, Mr. Holmes.
I have no time. Send whoever it is away.
Yes, Holmes, I really think we ought to leave now.
Mycroft.
Sherlock.
Oh, Mr. Holmes? Perhaps you don't remember me. I'm Dr. Watson. We met at the Diogenes Club a few years ago. I documented our encounter in a short story I gave the title The Greek Interpreter.
He does remember you, Watson. My brother remembers everything, and that is why he is so valuable to the government.
We are about to depart for the train station.
I know.
You know?
Sherlock, I need your help. There are people who presently threaten both our country and the crown itself. You must help us with those methods of yours.
Need help. Those are not words I
Oh,
would
drop
readily
brain
associate
for
with
reason.
you, Mycroft.
I wrote you a
Is
letter,
Michael
but you did not reply. And this is not about politics. It's about people. People similar to those whom you pretend to defend in your petty detective affairs.
Everything is about politics with you, Mycroft. I'm not interested. Have some of your agents, your spies, or worse, undertake this job of yours. You are defending your people, and they have little to do with the people I choose to help, I can assure you.
That's the point. You think exactly as they do.
Who are they?
The Merry Men. He is talking about the Merry Men, a band of idealistic terrorists.
Sherlock, do please think about it. They are planning something diabolical. Your country needs you.
You need me, Mycroft, and you are not
Please,
the
could
country.
I
Although if your waistline expands very much
end
further.
it here?
Mrs. Hudson, tea will not be necessary. Dr. Watson, the train conductor, Mr. Parker, is aware that you will be 7 minutes late. You are in the 4th car. The train will be waiting for you. Sherlock, enjoy your time in Staffordshire. And do, please, at least write to me on your return.
Holmes, please call a cab while I pack my suitcase. We
Check
should be
on the lady across the street. He's shooting it back at us. Clearly, oh, take word.
Watson, I'll hold a cab for us. We leave in 5 minutes for the station.
So we get to the train station.
What a gloomy night. It was warmer inside the waiting hall.
Since the station master told us that the train is about to arrive, we should not have to wait very much longer.
Yes, at
It was
last.
a ghost.
Attention!
That's
The
my
train is
prediction.
arriving at the station. Please stand well away from the platform edge.
I'll take your bags and your blasted archive suitcase. But, Holmes,
The
the
guy
headlight.
from the last case.
It's
Yeah.
faded away.
Something is
I got
wrong.
it right.
I can't hear any sound from the incoming train.
Excuse me, sir. Can you explain what has happened?
I don't know. It's as if the train vanished into thin air.
Holmes,
It
say
was a ghost
something.
train
Quick, fetch a lantern and let us take a look.
for the right
It's too dark.
ghost
Only
train.
fog and rails, nothing else.
There is no use in stumbling around here at night. We will come back tomorrow.
So investigate the train.
Well, here we are again at Evesham Station. We have a full day ahead. Let us begin our investigation.
Oh, just down. Okay. No, it's probably some guy with a stick.
This is the place where we
like
saw
a
the train
light.
vanish last night.
Railway sleepers, nothing unusual. Railway sleepers, nothing
Think.
unusual. A discarded item, possibly thrown from the train. There are no tracks or footprints on the ground. The rails have not been touched. There's nothing unusual here. There are no signs to indicate that the train ran off the track, nor are there any other traces. There is nothing whatsoever. There are no clues. But then, a negative result is also a result.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. No clues and you're smiling.
Yes, Watson, I do smile on occasion. This mystery appears very promising. This investigation won't be simple. We shall require a map of the region.
Perhaps the station master could lend us one.
Probably some guy like man ran off. Ran in. What's that?
Good morning. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
Yes, I remember you. I'm Station Master Everett. You were here last night. So, You are Mr. Holmes, the great detective. Will you be investigating what happened?
I shall indeed.
It is extraordinary that an entire train could disappear like that. And to think of all the poor people inside it, the passengers, the driver.
Guys, married.
Could you please give us any details about the train?
Well, there was nothing so very special about it. At least not that I can recall. My memory's not what it used to be. However, if you need it, you can have the train composition report. It's inside my office.
I would be glad to have a detailed map of the local railway district.
But of course, please, take the one that's pinned inside the waiting hall.
See you later, my good man.
Well, wait.
This map will be useful.
Holmes, how is it even possible for a train to disappear?
Well, jump. Yes.
An old locomotive bell. This part is probably from a locomotive. This place serves as a storage area for the station. This part is probably from a locomotive.
Oh. Okay. Nope. Probably.
A new telegram.
First.
I think we should meet this Mr. Robinson.
Him. All along.
Here is the train
the
set.
path.
A telegraph.
Look at that.
According to the train composition report, there was a special wagon. What does that entail?
That's a highly secure car, ordered by a private party. It is generally to carry something of value. Those wagons have iron walls, you know, without any windows. And they're fitted with a complex key lock.
That is important information. Do you know what was inside this particular wagon?
Certainly not. No, that's private. And it's not my responsibility to allot the wagons to whoever.
Was there anything exceptional about any of the passengers aboard the train?
What do you mean? Like officials? I wouldn't know. Oh, but now that you mention it, yes, there was something. There was a message from Bridlington station saying that the train had been delayed because of an issue with the passengers. What kind of problem that they didn't say?
That is interesting.
That
You mentioned a problem at Bridlington Station. I should like to visit this station. Could you mark it on the local map?
Of course. It's a suburban railway station.
I think the
You
train's
might
still
take a
missing,
cab there.
so I think.
See you later, my good man.
I think the fine.
This suitcase contains my...
We are trying to figure out why train and disappeared.
Railway post bags.
This is an absolute scandal. It's always the same with these rail companies. No respect for the customer.
Please calm down, sir.
The train was
What is
delayed
your
and he
concern?
couldn't get on it, so he had to stay there.
What is my concern? I'll tell you what my concern is. Last night I were on the train as usual with my collie, heading home. Then along came this ridiculous ticket inspector, who started arguing that our tickets were invalid. He made us get off the train, and he was extremely rude about it.
Were you aboard the train that vanished last night?
Yes, I heard that it disappeared, but I don't care because we would have stopped before then anyway. Our tickets were valid and no doubt about it. And then, to top it all, the ticket inspector pushed everyone else out too, except for a bunch of rich. Well, because their type don't need a ticket.
Can you recall anything more specific about this fortunate group?
Well, yes. They were all foreigners. Spanish-looking toffs with snake eyes.
Goodbye, sir. Good day to you, sir.
Good day. To whom am I speaking?
My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is...
Are you a representative of this damned railway company? Because I have a complaint.
We are not from the railway company. We are...
Well, in that case, Mr. Shamrock Flomes, please excuse me, but I'm not in the mood for idle chit-chat at the moment.
Him. Definitely him. Oh.
You must be Mr. Robinson, is that correct?
Yes.
I am leading the investigation of the disappearing train. It would help if you could answer my questions.
Ah, well, all right. I have nothing to hide.
I presume it was you who placed the order for the special wagon.
Yes. It was to transport my valuable prototype safely to London. My prototype is a revolutionary device. It is capable of producing electricity. I'm a businessman and an engineer. I had already found several potential customers for my invention, but I was very optimistic about the directors' board who were travelling on the train last night.
You mentioned a directors' board. Which company do they own?
The Chilean Barcazes Company. I had made an appointment with them. Now they are lost, along with the train and my prototype.
What do you know about the Barcazes Company?
It's a large South American company. They showed a great deal of interest in my prototype, and they seemed wealthy enough to do business with.
This revolutionary machine of yours, was it very valuable?
For God's sake, sir, it is priceless. It could change the world we live in, and yet I was selling it for almost nothing. I am a humanitarian, you see. I do not know if I will ever be able to get over this disaster. Cannot believe that it disappeared with that damn train.
Mr. Robinson, could you please clarify? Were you traveling alongside your prototype?
Yes, I was. But I had to step off the train. And all because of this stupid station master.
I received a telegram declaring that an important person, a Mr. Bromsby, wished to see you in the waiting room. I merely informed you of this.
Mr. Bromsby is a wealthy gentleman. His interest in my invention was truly unexpected. So yes, of course, I agreed to see him. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. I thought perhaps he might have been delayed, so I chose to wait a while. But despite my requests, the train left the station without me. Absolutely unacceptable.
The timetable is strict. We cannot wait any longer. The regulations require the train to be on time.
You are an idiot. You will pay for it. I will sue you.
The ticket inspector forced all the passengers from the train except for the directors of the Barcazes Chilean Company.
Our property.
A telegraph. The insurance policy for Robinson's machine. A significant sum.
I'm going here. There. I think that's a lot for the time. Like what? That was now time. See.
Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you?
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am investigating the unfortunate disappearance of last night's train.
I see. I'm Station Master Bertram, but my supervisor has not informed me about this. I do not know if...
Do not worry. I have only a few questions.
What?
Station Master Everett from Evesham told us that you reported a problem with some passengers last night.
Indeed. This train is a regular line for those who work at Nottingham. But yesterday, everyone was asked to get off the train here at my station. I've no idea why, and it delayed the train. But the worst of it is that now I have to deal with two furious passengers who are complaining about the company's service. They stayed here the whole night, but people do not usually pay much attention to the regulations, you see. There are very strict and clear rules. Paragraph 234 of Article 2G-43 states that in the event of a complaint, you must...
Yes, thank you. I understand. Apart from the passengers disembarking, did you notice anything else that was unusual last night?
I did, and I mentioned it in my report to our higher management on the matter.
What was it?
Sorry, but I can't tell you. The station master's reports are confidential.
Confidential, you say? How long have you been working here?
I've worked here long enough to be quite capable of managing a railway station.
Bye.
Let me speak frankly, Mr. Bertram. Your age and your lack of confidence in your position are quite apparent. You cannot deny that you have only recently completed your studies.
I was at the top of my class.
Listen here, young man. I am aware that you wish to protect yourself behind all these regulations, but I represent the law.
And you are obstructing the investigation of an important case. I would suggest that you cooperate with Mr. Holmes. Think of your career.
Doctor, with the back up there.
Well, I'll tell you everything. First of all, I scolded the ticket inspector, for it was he who asked the passengers to leave the train. It was not his right to do so. He was very rude. And then, later on, I received a most peculiar telegram from my colleague at Chesterfield Station, the next stop along the line.
What did the telegram say?
Well, that was the peculiar thing. It was almost unreadable. It was full of errors and awfully vague. It was hard to understand if the train had correctly passed that station or not. You can read it for yourself.
We ought to visit Chesterfield Station. We need to confirm if the station master saw the train or not.
That ticket master they talked about. Train line on for arriving at 12:30. Starting 12. Guess the guy was drunk.
Holmes, how is it even possible for a train to disappear?
Ticketmaster, probably a fake. Someone stole the train. To mean, that station and the other one just that.
A fishing advertisement.
I had thought that all station masters knew the Morse code, but apparently not.
From Vampire Rocky. Doesn't.
How could he fall asleep at work like this? Excuse me, sir. Wake up. Ah, his breath. He must have swallowed half a distillery.
And that explains the how.
By his sleeping off the alcohol, you mean? Wake up, please, sir.
What? The 18-hour 72 train has arrived?
Good day to you. We are investigating the disappearance of last night's train, and we should like to ask you a few questions.
What a last and some there.
Were there any passengers who got off that particular train at your station last night?
No, nobody, it seems to me. Although I did not leave my office, so...
No doubt you were very busy.
You don't say. You can't ever get any peace around here. Now you have to send a telegram each time a train arrives and departs.
Station Master Bertram from Bridlington showed me a strange telegram that he received from you last night. It concerned the train, but it was barely comprehensible.
What? He's a fastidious little twerp, that Bertram. I remember everything quite clearly. It was late, and I was tired, but I did my work. So what? There's no need to be so petty.
Station Master Bertram from Bridlington showed me a strange telegram that he received from you last night. It concerned the train, but it was barely comprehensible.
What? He's a fastidious little twerp, that Bertram. I remember everything quite clearly. It was late, and I was tired, but I did my work. So what? There's no need to be so petty.
Well,
You were not tired, you were inebriated. Tell me the truth now, or I shall not hesitate to document your state in my report.
My friend means that you will end up by being sacked from your position.
All right. So I was drunk. I don't remember all of yesterday, to be truthful to you. Please don't go harsh on me.
Holmes, this man has consumed a considerable amount of alcohol. He's not entirely helpless yet, but...
It will not be long before he is. Obviously, his testimony cannot be trusted.
stayed on the train. Just what? Yeah. Well,
A telegraph.
Ah, well...
Holmes, how is it even...
There is no sense in asking the station master to open it. We shall have to pick the lock.
Okay, I'll catch you later. Night. Oops. Hate it. Huh? There. Okay.
Railway post bags. Bags were recently dragged here. French wine, a remarkable vintage. These bottles are too expensive for a station master's wage. They were likely taken from the parcels.
Shameful.
Okay.
These tools were used quite recently. They are still muddy. We should ask about them. A handcar wheelbase. Interesting.
That.
It appears that elements of the same construction were scattered everywhere. Watson, please tell me, do you believe in magic?
Of course not, Holmes.
Then you are of the opinion that a train cannot simply disappear?
Well, we both know that that is obvious. Why are you asking such peculiar questions?
A little patience, Watson. You will understand my point quite soon. So, are you quite certain that you saw the train at Evesham Station?
Yes, of course. We saw it coming. The headlights, and heard the whistle.
But that is it. We didn't see the train itself.
But... Oh, Holmes, I'm a little confused.
And 3. Yeah.
I should use the appropriate object here. I should use the appropriate object here.
One. Is that it? Okay.
So, now here we have the fake train that we saw approaching Evesham Station last night.
Doesn't look much like a train to me.
Be patient, Watson. I haven't finished yet. Try using your imagination. Our train requires only a headlight and a steam whistle.
I'm trying to get it. Come. But okay, got it. Right?
The long pole is now attached. It will allow us to connect the headlight. The headlight is attached. The steam whistle is now connected.
Holmes, what can we do to make the steam whistle work?
It is elementary, my dear Watson. We shall need a fire extinguisher.
Silly.
The fire extinguisher. Now let us see what we have here.
That up.
The steam whistle is ready to be used.
So,
Watson, I do believe that we have created an exact replica of the train that vanished in front of us last night. The criminal mind can be most inventive. I am somewhat in awe.
So such a thing is possible. If someone went to all the trouble of creating this fake train, then it was surely with the intention of stealing the real one.
Ah, Watson, you should not jump to conclusions. In fact, this does not tell us very much at all, except that the train did not evaporate into thin air.
Although you half suspected it.
Huh. At any rate, we now need to find where the real train might be hidden. I suggest we use my archives to find a more detailed map of our surroundings.
Well, I hope that justifies our having to load your massive archive suitcase onto the cab. It made us extremely unpopular with our driver.
Excellent. Okay. the train never reached further. Well, run.
Now we have two maps. We must combine them properly.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh.
Here it is. There is a side branch to the railway. Its first switch is located between Bridlington and Chesterfield stations. There is one more station to be visited. It is located between Chesterfield and Evesham, and there should be a side railway to the nearby quarry. There is a small section of a railway at the end of Evesham station.
Rail.
The switch is rusted, but it still works.
And oh. Okay, go to station.
A funny character. He looks anxious.
And he is not an Englishman. This scent is familiar to me, but in order to recognize it, I must combine my associations into one picture.
Oh.
A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. Ricardo.
You already know the name of this man? Holmes, you amaze me.
No, Watson, I refer to the cigar. It is a Ricardo Turrent, a Mexican cigar of an excellent quality. Quite an expensive one, too. This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs. A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. These ashes and cigar stubs are similar to the one that we found on the floor. Some of the stubs were recently smoked. There are others that appear fairly old.
That means that the fellow spent several days here. Judging by his clothes, he's hardly a traveller or a tramp.
Well concluded, my dear fellow. A man who smoked the Ricardo brand of Mexican cigar spent several long days at Doncaster Station. Apparently, there was a conflict between the Mexicans and the Chileans. This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs.
Okay. Ian. Braille. Prototype. Wherever. Yeah. Oh.
Newspaper articles on horse racing. Hurdle, steeplechase, and flat racing. He is a true enthusiast, Holmes.
Betting slips for horse racing.
Bye. Okay. Okay.
Bettings. The sums are quite impressive.
It can be an expensive vice. This man had probably used all his savings.
A telegraph.
Holmes, look. There's a flooded area over here.
I believe that the flooded area might be worth checking.
Oh. Up out of there.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. John Watson. We are investigating the case of the vanished train.
Is that so? Well, good day, gentlemen. I am Mr. Duff, the station master of this station. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can, but there's not much that I can tell you about last night.
It's a betting. Five. Four. Four.
It appears that you may be at risk of some flooding along the line here.
You mean that the whole bloody lake is at our feet?
Quite so. But it is strange, because according to my map, there should be a quarry here, and behind that, the lake.
How should I know? I only arrived here a few months ago.
And where did you work before that?
I was working in Nottingham, but I asked for a quieter place, so they transferred me here. Life is cheaper. I can't really complain.
Did any passengers leave or board the train last night?
No. I saw no one as usual. I reported the train's passage by telegraph, just the same as all the other nights.
I observe that you are a gambling man, Mr. Duff. You had hoped that your relocation to this small town might have helped ease your addiction, but it was not to be.
I beg your pardon? Addiction to what?
We found a number of horse racing tickets inside your office. Well, we all have our weaknesses. An expensive obsession, surely, for a station master.
It is none of your business. I occasionally attend the races with my colleagues. And anyway, that's my private life.
There was a gentleman of Mexican origin, I believe, in the waiting room. Did you notice him?
What? A Mexican? Here in the back of beyond? Are you quite sure about that?
Goodbye, sir. It is obvious that we cannot inspect the quarry. Instead, we can check the beach area around the flooded lake. Here we are at the beach that is located near the quarry and Doncaster. These traces were made by a carriage. Look. Nothing interesting here. 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 The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. The vehicle would have been... The vehicle pressed this stone into the ground. It would have been quite heavy. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. This place was abandoned fairly recently. An abandoned gypsy caravan. Observing the coastline and the moored boats, we are able to see that the lake's water level dropped. The lake has flooded the quarry. The dam was probably breached. label with the name Las Zarpas.
The entire train is
There was a building here not so long ago.
But I don't understand, Holmes. Why would anyone destroy the shed in such a manner?
It was disassembled in great haste. It is most odd. Traces. Let's take a closer look. The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. The traces found at the disassembled shed near Evesham and at the lake were from the same vehicle. It appears that there was a small warehouse near your station and that it was disassembled. Why is that?
It was burgled overnight about 2 weeks ago. The police have already started their investigation, but I doubt that they'll find anything.
What was inside the warehouse?
Nothing of value. A few 100 feet of standby rails and some spare railway parts. But it wouldn't be easy to steal all of that. Why would anyone want to?
See you later, my good man. mines. This is interesting. It would be quite possible for someone to redirect the train towards the mines.
Here are the mines, Holmes. They appear to be abandoned.
The distance between the tracks is about 4 feet 8 inches. A lightly loaded vehicle came this way. There is a wooden beam lying on the rails. A small vehicle with wooden beams went down this way.
This mine has completely collapsed, Holmes.
It is curious, but to be truthful, I am not entirely surprised.
It's difficult to follow you, Holmes.
This is an unusual kind of paper, stiff and dry. It was used for a specific purpose. Let us look inside. Sawdust. I am almost certain it is a... Watson, could you assist, please? Do you have your pistol? Good. Fire at this package.
Dynamite.
Someone removed these screws, most probably to take down the rails. A few feet of the rails have been dismantled. This box must be the safe. Let's open it. The Mexican company Caracol and the Chilean Barcazas both want to buy the mines. I need more information. Perhaps Mycroft could help.
Okay. That we can't. Oh, okay.
Watson, it seems that both South American companies were involved in the purchase of the mine.
The man at Doncaster who fled our approach, he smokes Mexican cigars. Perhaps...
Yes, Watson. We should certainly speak with him.
Yeah. Don't. Oh. Oh, it is. Okay. So. Find the guy. Okay.
Please, sir, we would ask you not to leave. We have some questions.
Are you the police?
No, we are employed by the railway company. We are collecting witness statements about the train that disappeared last night.
Lo siento, I'm in a hurry.
Really? It seemed that you were waiting here for someone. Could you tell us if you were at the station last night?
No, I just arrived from South America.
A formidable journey, no doubt. Which country are you from?
De Chile.
De Chile. Oh. Oh.
Chile? But you are Mexican.
No, you are wrong. Why would you think I'm Mexican?
Oh.
Because of your cigars.
Sí, cigarrillos. So what?
Those cigars are the Ricardo brand, from Mexico. It is quite impossible to find them anywhere but there.
Pero not your business.
I don't suppose that you are on vacation. What business brought you here?
I was to meet my fellow compañeros. Where did you arrive yesterday? They were on that damn train. I will stay here and hope that the authorities find them, or their bodies. It's now my responsibility to repatriate them.
Who authorized you to do that?
The company I work for.
Could you tell me the name of the company?
It's not your concern.
And what is your name?
Enough questions. Buenas tardes.
Not a very friendly man, and he is lying. He said that he just arrived, but we know that he has been here for several days.
Yeah. Oh.
Your find nothing interesting here, I'm afraid.
I don't. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Railway post bags. This post bag belongs to the station master.
Photo aggregate HC main road. Yeah, 69HJ from Leyland. Reply to class 25. Just no. And to pay for project. He came in and had lots of money.
The station master appears to have found himself in some financial trouble.
Don't know find three. My darling asked just then no funny to pay the customer as you make tea as that is gold. But large influx of money. But or if just and map. It never arrived. Then just don't never arrived.
You'll find nothing interesting here, I'm afraid.
I asked Mycroft to find out some information on the WEA Coal Company. Here is his reply, and it is an interesting one.
Fine.
Watson, would you like some tea?
Yeah. What happened? Still Watson. Hmm. Okay, wait. Oh, but okay. What?
Holmes, how...
You'll find nothing interesting here, I'm afraid.
Shit. Uh, wait, was oh, right. Oh, yeah, just
This bin is full of empty bottles.
You have quite a number of dirty tools lying around here.
Ah, yes. Well, thank you for reminding me. I should clean them. Although, might be easier to put them outside. Seems it might start raining soon.
I meant, what were they used for?
Some workers come here and borrowed them from me. They wanted to lift the edge of the railway to one of the stations on the line, so that the water wouldn't come in too close.
Who were these workers?
Well, they didn't seem to be from the company, but they was fine lads. They invited me to share a drink. And whatever it was, it had a kick to it. They wasn't English. No, I don't believe so. But see, they knew just what a man needed to brighten up his dull evening.
so you dropped.
The whole train just disappeared.
Don't touch anything, please.
The top of from and
According to this document, you have insurance for your prototype.
Oh, thank God. Where did you find it?
Near the telegraph station.
I must have lost it when I tried to send a message, which I was prevented from doing.
I apologise for that, but regulations state that public access to the telegraph is strictly prohibited.
Upon my word, you keep on digging that hole of yours. You have no idea who I am.
I see that you kept your grip sack with you. Why don't you leave it in the luggage room?
I've had other things to think about. I lost my prototype. And this idiot station master just stands here doing nothing to help.
Oh, but...
Well, that won't do at all. Station master, I believe that the regulations state that any passenger luggage should be taken to the luggage room.
I'll do it right away, sir. Sorry, sir.
This Robinson is quite a character. We should learn more about him.
to the luggage room. See, he very useful.
This gripsack belongs to Mr. Robinson.
I think we should open it, Holmes. This is what they call force majeure. I'll keep watch.
Of course.
Man, you don't. Hold on. Two lights. One. Yeah, that's a lock puzzle.
Look, Watson, a bundle of contracts. Very suspicious. An exclusive sales contract. Mr. Robinson is the seller. Mr. Robinson. Yes. Mr. Robinson is the seller. Yet another exclusive sales contract. Yet another. Mr. Robinson is the seller. Well, it is very clear that this Mr. Robinson received prepayments from various people for his machine.
No.
I will not move from here until I receive...
scene.
This ashtray is full of...
Talk. There's God. But this door.
You'll find...
Okay. Hmm. Oh, wait, do I check the archive? Yeah.
My search should be focused upon the name Las Zarpas.
Yeah, thought a lot.
My search should be focused upon the name. My search should be focused upon the name Las Zarpas. My search should be focused upon the name Las Zarpas. My search should be focused upon the name Las Zarpas.
Hmm.
My search my search should be focused upon...
Oh, fucking right there. Completely missed it. The last office called transportation last office label belongs to the prototype. Bosses. Uh, Mexico. No, direct. Avatar. Um, um, the side road, my friend. Dick. The time to come. Oh,
You'll find nothing interesting here, I'm afraid.
no. Still have full stuff. Hmm. Do you have any insight?
Holmes, I don't understand. Why do you care so much about this business with the mines?
Hmm. Ah.
This railway branch should lead to the quarry. Let us take a look.
And I fucking see.
The switch is rusted, but it still works. The rail is rusted and looks old, but the railway is still usable.
Wait.
The railway ends here. That is strange.
Uh. Brilliant. At the past. Been up. Oh. Close. And oh, this. Oh. Oh, it. Oh. Yes. No. No. Oh, there we go, the connection. Then this one. Chileans drown the carefully planned murder. Mexico killed Chileans and sank the train in the equator. Blind justice. Let's go. A long run left.
Then the case is solved, Holmes. What do you intend to do?
Well, I shall require assistance for the arrests. There were accomplices.
Ah, but I know that look. You have your own ideas. What are they, Holmes?
On the one hand, we have the local constabulary and advice from our friend Lestrade. The problem we have there is that the authorities seem to be incapable of acting quietly. They rely on brute force. It could result in an international scandal. Our other option is Brother Mycroft and his tedious political games. He will locate the guilty parties without any trouble, but it will be a long and drawn-out process, and possibly with some compromise that will be to Mycroft's benefit. But I think I'd prefer to give Mycroft a chance. We should overlook our personal differences on this occasion.
Let us go home, then. I'd like to begin writing a draft of this story.
I did not say that we had finished here yet.
Well, all right. What did I miss?
Yes, what did you miss?
Watson, we know that the Barkazas Company directors were drowned in the flooded quarry, along with the train and Robinson's prototype. But we still need to corner the guilty party.
But how do you intend to prove... Oh, no. Please don't tell me we have to dive into the lake.
You may rest assured that I have a far better idea. We have only to use our corrupt Doncaster station master as bait. He will unwittingly trap our Mexican friend.
Of course, you already had a plan. I shall follow you, Holmes.
Well, the case is solved, and we shall be heading home. May we have 2 tickets to London, please?
Right away. Wait a minute. You've solved the case?
In a manner of speaking, can you believe that the rescue service miraculously saved one of the Chileans who were on board the train? The police have ordered his immediate escort to London on the next train.
He pulled through, then? He's alive?
Yes, by extreme good fortune. His condition is quite serious, and the method of transportation has its risk, but he will be held securely by the doctor and police officers. The gentleman carries some vital information on this case. I am sure of it.
Ah, really?
Your station will be famous, Mr. Duff. The journalists will be here before you know it. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Trapped. Unwitting. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some quick time of banana.
Gentlemen, you are under arrest.
Caramba! You traitor! You double-crossed me!
Oh, he got fuck. What a blade.
Good shot, Watson. I always knew you were a talented marksman.
I didn't want another life lost in this case, Holmes.
Oh my God! I thought I was a dead man.
You shouldn't be so glad about it. You'll be up before the judge.
Your testimony will be of great importance to the investigation. I would remind you that your cooperation will be the best way to ease your sentence. By the way, Watson, Would you be so kind as to give me some shooting lessons later on?
Yes, but not in our sitting room, and not with you wearing a blindfold.
So I guess it was a carefully planned murder. Mexican killed Chile, sank the train to hide the crime. The damn breach was played to their advantage. They got their own part of the train on the front for a few seconds, then sank the largest body. The train was transferred to hide the crime. Criminal such as not become found direct. It requires a daily chapter from the decision made Microsoft that transfers South Con. Did I get it right? Yeah. Those are all D. Okay.
Holmes, what happened?
I feel deathly.
And you look it. Let me examine you. Please don't tell me that you've returned to your old habits. The pupil is dilated.
Oh, huh? Breath.
The temperature appears to be normal.
What?
I need to concentrate and count the heartbeats. I need to concentrate.
Fuck off. I click that. 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 8.
A weak pulse, around 50 beats per minute. But you're dying, Holmes. Your pulse rate is dropping. We need to get you to the hospital immediately.
The antidote. Give it to me.
The antidote? You mean that you're poisoned?
Now. Please.
Here, drink it all. Don't tell me that you did this to yourself.
Hemlock and Datura. I was compelled to.
Holmes, imagine if I'd not returned home when I did. What might have happened?
I knew that you would.
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Lestrade is here to see you.
Mr. Holmes is unable to see anyone at the moment. He is unwell.
A good day, Inspector.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to find you here. I need your help. This is a strange one. We have brought in 2 young bankers from the city, sons of lords, members of the chamber, and so on and so forth. They were found stranded in a rowing boat that was drifting on the Thames.
A romantic escapade with an unhappy ending, Lestrade.
What? Well, yes, they were both in the bath, but... what?
As I said.
And they were tied together.
You are lacking in imagination, Inspector.
Well, no, I'm not. Anyway, there was a banner flapping about in the boat with the RMS Oceanic printed on it and signed by the Merry Men.
The Oceanic? Isn't that the largest steamer ever built?
Yes. And these 2 young banker chaps are sons of the owners of the White Star Line, the company that built it. There are rumours of corruption.
I'm not interested in politics, Lestrade.
I'll keep it then. Here's another one that's a bit more complex and maybe to your liking. It's a murder, but we're unable to find any weapon. We haven't touched anything. It's at the Roman Baths in Strand Lane.
A murder, a vanishing weapon, the Roman Baths. That's for us. Watson, fetch your hat.
Yeah. Okay. I am gonna pull it there. Thanks for watching, everyone.